Why are so many famous stars converting to Catholicism? In a world where red carpets shine, where applause echoes after every performance, and where wealth and attention seem to satisfy every desire, something unexpected is happening. Away from the flashing cameras behind closed doors, these stars are making quiet choices that few ever see. They are choosing faith. 10 famous stars in America have taken this step, and their stories are not shallow headlines. They're raw, honest, sometimes even shocking. For some, it's a search for truth after the spotlights fade. For others, it's a desperate need for hope, healing, or a second chance. The Catholic faith isn't a trend to them. It's a lifeline, a homecoming, a story far richer than any headline can capture. Today, you'll hear the real reasons these celebrities have chosen Catholicism, and why their journeys are sparking conversations everywhere, from Hollywood sets to small-town pews. If these stories move you, don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll want to hear every powerful testimony we share. Now, let's uncover why Catholicism is changing lives at the very top. Number 1. Nicole Kidman. Nicole is known all over the world. An Oscar-winning actress, a star who has graced countless magazine covers, and a woman whose personal life has always drawn attention. But before the fame, before the Hollywood lights, Nicole was just a little girl raised in a Catholic household. She was baptized, she went to Mass, she learned the prayers that many Catholic children know by heart. Yet, life has a way of pulling us in unexpected directions. In 1990, she married Tom Cruise. With him came the world of Scientology, a faith that was strict, demanding, and completely different from the Catholic upbringing she had known. For 16 years, Nicole walked away from Catholicism. To the outside world, she seemed to have it all. She had beauty, talent, wealth, and fame. But inside, there was a silence, a longing that Scientology never answered. When her marriage ended in 2001 and she was officially divorced in 2006, Nicole stood at a crossroads. Many in Hollywood might have tried to drown the pain in distractions, but Nicole did something else. She returned to the faith of her childhood. It wasn't just nostalgia. It wasn't about clinging to the past. It was about rediscovering the anchor that had once given her peace. Later, she married Keith Urban, who was also Catholic, and together they made a promise to raise their children in the church. Nicole attends Mass with her family, and she speaks of her faith not as an accessory to her life but as its foundation. For someone who once walked away, her return is a reminder that sometimes, when the lights fade and the applause grows quiet, we all find ourselves reaching for home. Number 2. Patricia Heaton. Patricia Heaton, beloved by television audiences for her iconic roles in Everybody Loves Raymond and The Middle, was shaped from an early age by the traditions and rituals of the Catholic Church. But everything changed when her mother passed away. A loss that left a quiet but profound emptiness in Patricia's life. In the years that followed, she stepped away from the faith of her childhood, unable to reconcile the pain of that loss with the comfort she once found in church pews and family prayers. Patricia's search for spiritual grounding took her through a tapestry of other Christian denominations, each offering new perspectives, yet none quite filling the space left behind. She participated in Bible studies, joined various congregations, and immersed herself in new ways of worship, always hoping to rediscover the certainty and connection she once felt. Through the rise of her acting career and the demands of public life, this search remained quietly personal, a thread woven into her private world. Eventually, it was the quiet pull of her roots, memories of the sacraments, the familiar prayers, and the unique sense of home within the Catholic community that drew her back. When Patricia finally returned to the church, it was not with fanfare, but with a quiet sense of relief and recognition, as if she had stepped across a threshold she'd been approaching for years. In the sanctuary she had once left, she found what years of searching could not provide, and the faith she reclaimed became an integral part of her life once again. Number 3. Mario Lopez. Mario's story is not about leaving and coming back, it is about never letting go. From a young age, Mario was raised in a Catholic home. He went to church, learned the prayers, and grew up surrounded by tradition. But unlike many in Hollywood who walk away from faith as they grow famous, Mario chose to lean into it. As his career soared, he kept his Catholic roots close. Today, Mario attends Latin Mass with his family, introduces his children to the sacraments, and even shares glimpses of his faith on social media. In a world where religion is often hidden or treated as something private, Mario stands out. He doesn't shout about his faith, but he doesn't hide it either. For him, Catholicism is not a Sunday routine but a daily way of living. It is the compass that guides his choices as a father, a husband, and an entertainer. Mario's story shows that faith can be a constant, not something we outgrow, but something that grows with us. Number 4, Moira Harris. Moira Harris, born in Illinois in 1954 and widely respected for her work on stage and screen, began her adult life rooted in Protestant traditions, especially after marrying actor Gary Sinise within their shared denomination. For many years, faith was present, but remained in the background. A familiar thread in their marriage, but not a defining focus. Everything changed for Moira during an unplanned visit to a Catholic church, where an unexpected moment of spiritual clarity deeply moved her. This encounter stirred questions she hadn't asked before and awakened a longing for something more profound than what she had previously known. Compelled by this experience, Moira enrolled in the rite of Christian initiation of adults, committing to a period of study and discernment that would eventually lead her into full communion with the Catholic Church at the Easter Vigil in 2000. Her decision caught her husband Gary by surprise. Yet, it planted a seed of curiosity and admiration in him as well. Over time, Gary Sinise followed Moira's example and embraced the Catholic faith himself. But it was Moira's bold step, her willingness to follow a call she hadn't expected, that set everything in motion. Number 5, Rima Fakih. Rima's story is unlike any other on this list. Born in Lebanon and raised in a devout Muslim family, she grew up immersed in the traditions of Islam. When she moved to the United States, she carried that faith with her. In 2010, she made history when she was crowned Miss USA, becoming the first Muslim woman to win the title. Her victory was celebrated as a symbol of diversity and achievement. But behind the crown and the pageantry, Rima's spiritual journey was still unfolding. In 2016, before her wedding to Wassim Slaby, a Lebanese-Canadian music executive, Rima made the life-changing decision to convert to Catholicism. It was not a small step. For someone raised in a strong Muslim household, her choice was bold and deeply personal. But she embraced it fully. Together with her husband, she began raising their children in the Catholic faith. Her decision even inspired her sister and uncle to convert as well, creating a ripple effect within her family. Today, Rima speaks openly about her Catholic faith. She weaves her rich cultural background into her spiritual life, showing that faith is not about losing your roots but about building on them. Rima's story shows courage, conviction, and the power of choosing a path that feels true to the heart, even when it surprises the world. Number 6, Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is one of the most recognizable faces in American entertainment. He's known for his quick wit, his ability to make people laugh, and his sharp observations about culture and politics. But behind the comedy is a story of deep pain and an incredible return to faith. Stephen was born into a Catholic family, the youngest of 11 children. He grew up surrounded by tradition, mass, and prayer. But when he was just 10 years old, tragedy struck. His father and 2 of his brothers were killed in a plane crash. That loss shattered his world. For a child, it was unbearable. In the years that followed, Stephen declared himself an atheist. How could a loving God allow such pain? His faith, once so natural, felt broken. For years, Stephen lived without belief. He focused on his career, developed his comedy, and built a life outside of religion. But then, something unexpected happened. One day, while walking down a street, a stranger handed him a small pocket New Testament. It seemed ordinary, almost forgettable. But as Stephen began to read it, something stirred. The words of Scripture spoke to him in a way nothing else had. Slowly, he began to realize that the faith he had abandoned was not gone, it had been waiting. Number 7, Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise, the acclaimed American actor and musician born in 1955, spent much of his early life within the traditions of Protestant Christianity. For years, his spiritual path ran parallel to his career, marked by genuine belief, but also by a sense of searching that never fully subsided. The turning point in Gary's journey arrived as he witnessed his wife, Moira Harris, embrace Catholicism after her own transformative experience. Her decision inspired deep reflection and prompted Gary to explore the faith for himself, moving beyond the boundaries of habit and familiarity. Over time, drawn by the richness of Catholic teaching and the example set by Moira, Gary made the commitment to join the church. Today, he is not only an active parishioner, but also a visible advocate for Catholic values, frequently engaging in charity work and community service with his wife. Together, they embody a shared devotion that continues to shape both their family life and public witness. Number 8. Laura Ingram. Laura's journey is fascinating because it shows the power of relationships and curiosity. She was born and raised in a Baptist household, where her faith was rooted in Protestant Christianity. But during her college years, something changed. She was surrounded by friends who practiced Catholicism. They invited her to attend Massachusetts. At first, she went out of curiosity. She wanted to see what it was like, to observe, to compare. But what began as curiosity became something deeper. The more she attended, the more she noticed the reverence, the beauty, and the sense of tradition that marked the Catholic Church. She began to ask questions. She studied the teachings, explored the history, and found herself drawn to the depth and the sense of continuity that Catholicism offered. Laura's journey was not rushed. She didn't wake up one day and decide to convert. Instead, she entered RCIA, the program for adults who want to join the Catholic Church. She spent months learning, reflecting, and preparing. In 2003, she was officially received into the Catholic Church. For Laura, it was not just a new religious choice. It was a homecoming to something that felt true to her heart. Her story shows how simple invitations from friends can change the direction of a life. Number 9. Rob Schneider. Born in California in 1963, Schneider was raised in a Jewish household, surrounded by the heritage and traditions of his faith. Yet everything began to change during the challenging months of the 2020 pandemic. Facing isolation and uncertainty like so many others, Rob found himself drawn to questions about life's purpose and deeper meaning. It was in this period of reflection that he experienced a profound encounter with Jesus Christ, an event that deeply moved him and set him on a new spiritual course. Compelled to search for the fullness of Christian truth, Rob explored the history and teachings of different denominations, ultimately becoming convinced that the Catholic Church is the only one directly established by Jesus. After a season of study and prayer, he made his conversion public, sharing in 2020 that he had officially become Catholic. Rob Schneider's journey highlights how moments of adversity can prompt the most meaningful changes, leading even public figures to embrace a faith that challenges, fulfills, and transforms. What about you? Have you ever experienced a moment that made you question your beliefs or consider a different path? Stay with us until the end to hear more incredible stories and let us know in the comments which conversion story surprises you the most. Number 10. Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg's life is a study in extremes. Growing up in the Dorchester neighborhood of Boston, Mark was surrounded by a large Catholic family. But as a teenager, he broke away completely. By his own admission, his youth spun out of control, marked by frequent run-ins with the law, street violence, substance abuse, and stints in juvenile detention. Hollywood would later spotlight his charm and grit. But behind the scenes, Mark was still wrestling with the scars of his past. It was in those silent, restless hours, long after the cameras stopped rolling, that he found himself searching for meaning, haunted by everything he couldn't fix on his own. Slowly, almost quietly, Mark returned to the Catholic faith of his childhood. It wasn't a public spectacle, but a personal reckoning. He began showing up for daily Mass, not just on Sundays, but every single morning, sometimes slipping in unnoticed before sunrise. Confession and prayer became constants in his life. What surprises many is how transparent he's become. Mark regularly talks about his Catholic faith on talk shows, in interviews, and even on social media, where he isn't shy about sharing prayer requests or inviting others to rediscover faith. He credits his return to the church not just with helping him stay sober and focused, but with giving him the structure and discipline that fame and fortune That wraps up our journey through these remarkable stories of transformation. Now it's your turn. Where in the world are you tuning in from? And which of these stories moved you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more eye-opening stories like these, make sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And always remember, no matter where life takes you, God walks beside you every step of the way.